Hi, it's Marilyn Maceri, your consciousness coach, back again for another episode of Conscious Awakening. And today I'm going to be having a conversation about the law of attraction with a dear friend of mine, Michelle Pawl-Gierak. Michelle is a life coach and Reiki master, and today we're going to be discussing the law of attraction and all the goodness it has to bring. Welcome, Michelle. How are you today?
I'm fine, Marilyn. Thanks for asking me.
Good. As a co-teacher of the 7 Essential Universal Laws class with me, today I thought it'd be a great idea to talk about the law of attraction and all of the goodness it has to bring and all of the amazing gifts that it opens doors once you understand it, how it works.
Absolutely, and no better time than now because a new year is coming.
Absolutely.
So if you're not happy with how your last year went, you can certainly make a change and make your next year better.
Absolutely. There's always a gift in that, is becoming aware. You know, as a consciousness coach, that's what I believe is very powerful, is just bringing awareness of how these things work. The law of attraction, many of you have probably heard about it. The Secret came out in 2006, and it was very well known, talked a lot about how it works. But there's so much more in depth. And as a consciousness coach and you're a life coach, when you talk with your clients and that, the law of attraction plays a huge role.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, I think people forget that they are constantly attracting. They're constantly attracting. So if you're thinking in a negative thought process, then you're going to attract more of a negative thought or negative activity in your life. Where if you think more on a positive thought or look at that and say, how can I change that thought? Then it changes, it's a paradigm shift.
Absolutely. And it's based on the idea that everything is energy. And it's not that specifically that, you know, it's what you're resonating at, what energy you're emanating and put out into the world, into the universe.
Absolutely.
Is what comes back. Because like energy attracts like energy. So, for instance, you know, this as a universal law, it works whether we're aware of it or not.
Absolutely.
It works 100% of the time. All the time. We are creators and we are creating our life. In any given moment, whatever energy that you're putting out is what you're attracting back.
Correct. It's like the law of gravity. We've talked about that before. You know, you don't have to know that, you don't need to feel it, you just know it exists. You're going to jump off the roof, guess what? You're coming down to the ground. So,
and it doesn't matter what, you know, how old you are, what nationality you are. It doesn't matter how rich you are, how poor you are.
None of those things.
None of it matters. It's you know, it works.
Right.
And that's how the law of attraction is.
And more importantly with that, it's the energy that you attach to that law. So if you're thinking, for example, you're having a bad day and you need to change the energy that's around you. Sometimes it's just a matter of thinking of one good thing that might have happened, or I often, because I have grandchildren, I often think of one of my grandkids and it just kind of goes, oh, that's a great thought. And it changes how I'm feeling, which then changes how I can distribute that outwardly. So.
Exactly. And there are certain steps to follow that are very helpful. They are, first you must ask. And asking is pretty much an intention. What is your intention? What is it your heart is desiring? What is it that you truly, truly want to manifest? Because as a creator, we are able to do that. But it's helpful to understand that we're creators and that in any given moment you are creating tomorrow.
Right. From the minute
Actually,
you get up.
you're creating today from the minute you get up,
right.
Which through your thoughts, words, and actions. So asking the universe, being specific in your ask, what is it you really, truly desire? And one of the ways of doing that is writing it down, asking yourself in the different areas of your life, like say financially or relationships or spiritually or physically, you know, what is it that you truly desire in each area of your life?
oftentimes too, the asking can be manipulated by using pictures, because many people are photosensitive. So if you've talked to any of the people who have achieved greatness, they will tell you they did very unusual things, like they paste a picture on the ceiling, so the first thing they looked at in the morning was this picture on the ceiling, or they'd paste it on their mirror where they were shaving or brushing their teeth, so it would be the first thing they see. So immediately it starts that asking process, that's there, I see it there, I'm going to ask that it's coming my way, and it starts that motivation.
Excellent. And that leads into the second step, which is believe. Because you ask and then you believe, you have to have the faith that it's manifesting, that it's happening, and get yourself out of the way.
Right.
It's kind of like put it out there and then let it go. Knowing
like the faith of a mustard seed.
There.
You don't need a little, but you need a little. You know what I'm saying? You don't need an oak tree full. You just need enough to say, you do believe. You believe you deserve this.
Yes.
And it is coming your way.
Yes. Yes. And then the third step is to receive. Receive guidance. I always say the universe speaks. You have to be open to listening and receiving. And how the universe speaks is amazing. You know, I believe in angels and guides. I believe in that by asking for their help, they are there to help us.
Right.
And being open and receptive to receiving their messages and guidance. Because that creates an energy in itself. Is you get excited because you're like, okay, I'm asking, I know it's going to happen, so look for signs and symbols and things, like it could be coming from a TV program or a radio show, or
without question,
a billboard driving down the street.
In fact, I was just going to say, in that capacity, you don't need a burning bush. It doesn't have to be a giant something.
It could be, though.
Well, yeah, it could be.
It could be a burning bush.
Absolutely, it could be any burning bush
like
in your backyard.
I'd love for you to tell your story about that.
Oh, yeah,
about your orange.
Oh my God, I will. I'll
Okay.
tell that story. But
Yeah.
with the thought that it could be, I come from a very musical family, so music resonates with me. And I know people that'll say, well, when I get in the car and I put my key in and I turn it on and my radio's on, I'm going to listen to that song. Whatever that first song is a message. And that's how it functions for me. You know, one of the ways that it functions for me. But I'm going to bring that conversation in really quick. When I
you go through the steps, because you did the steps.
I did all the steps. I did all the steps. I was just had been diagnosed. I had killed breast cancer back in 2013, and going through a myriad of what kind of process am I going to do? What's my thought? Where am I gonna? Am I going Eastern medicine? Am I going Western medicine? I wasn't really sure, and everything just kind of pours on you. So I did. I sat down and I said, God, I need you to really help me on this one, and I need some insight, and I need, to see some kind of connection, and I need you to provide it for me without me really, I'm just going to know it's the answer.
And that was your ask.
That was my ask.
That was your ask,
and
right there. It was
believed
beautiful.
that I was going to get the answer.
And believed.
I
yes.
did believe. And
yes.
I said, I know it's going to come. Because at this point, when I was asking that question and going through my head, my father, who was still alive at the time, was giving me all this horrible, like, I don't think you should do chemo, and I don't think you should do radiation. I think that killed your mother. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, you can't listen to this. This is not going to help you. So you need to ask. And you know what, God? You just need to provide me the thought process that everything's going to be okay. It's going to be okay, and you're going to be there. So I went that same day to Home Depot. And I was standing in line at Home Depot, and I'm looking, for whatever it is that I'm looking for, and I get in line, and I turn around this way, and there was a group.
Did you ask for a sign? I think you asked
did
for a
ask
sign.
for a sign, yeah.
That everything was going to be
everything was
okay.
going to be okay. There was now come on, you're going to find this at Home Depot in Shelby Township, a group of Tibetan monks. Tibetan monks, all dressed in orange. And orange, it was a strong sign for me because through many of my other processes of things, orange was the color that just kept coming up. You know, it just kept coming up, a color orange, like the room door was orange or the nurses were wearing orange, and it was just a resonating color. So not only do I have orange, but I have 6 Tibetan monks standing at Home Depot next to me and smiling like this. Because they don't talk, they're not talking to you, they're just smiling. And I walked out of Home Depot, and I can't explain to you the elated feeling that I got, because all 3 of those things happened. I asked for a sign, I believed it was going to come, and how can you not see Tibetan monks dressed in orange?
Can you miss that? That's your burning bush.
Right,
that was your burning bush.
My burning bush. You're right. So that was it was a piece. And in fact, it was so peaceful, and I told a few people about it, that people started sending me pictures of Tibetan monks dressed in orange, and I kept it as the picture on my phone. So it was, you know, my one cousin said, go get some orange candles, start burning orange candles in your house, because these are all good signs. And so I'm not, you know, I believe in miracles and I believe in angels. And you tell me where you were going to see a bunch of Tibetan monks at 5 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday night at Home Depot. And what they were doing, I didn't even know there was a Tibetan monk place in the area. But I now found out that there is. And they were redoing their meditation place. So they were buying all these plants and all these things. And but I walked out of this, and all I kept saying was, thank you.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you.
Yes.
I get it. It's okay.
And so the 4th step is what? To act.
Correct. So I had to think, because my question really was, which path do I take? Do I take an Eastern medicine path, or do I do a Western medicine path? Because I believed in the healing of the body. So that orange sign said I was going to do both. And that's really what it was meant to do. So my action at that point was to practice the Western medicine, the way they did things, although I didn't agree with everything. And I argued with my doctors very regularly going, but I'm doing this. But I also did Western medicine, and that's where, or the Eastern medicine as well. I did the Reiki. We worked on that, and I cannot explain to you how that energy healing was a huge process of my healing, because there were days that you just were in pain. I can't explain it. It wasn't like a horrible pain thing, but it was just your whole body was aching. So the Reiki was keeping me calm and centered and focused, and that was phenomenal. And
we practiced Reiki weekly.
Every week. We did it every week, every Wednesday, because we were practicing our other classes at that time too. And we were doing essential oils, which were both certified aromatherapists.
Yes.
And so we were doing essential oils.
Essential oils are crucial.
Absolutely. And just, if nothing else, to change the mood that you were in. Sometimes it was just a matter of the smell was like, okay, I'm feeling better just because it smelled better. So we did that practice. So I did both. And I will tell you this, the last thing. After doing that whole process, which is a strong 18 months worth of process, when I went for the surgery, which I finally decided that I would do the surgery, and they said we couldn't find it. We couldn't find it. And I said, but you finished the surgery. And they said, well, microscopically, all these things, And I said, okay, well, it's over and done with now.
Right.
But when they said that, all of that kind of flooded back to me, like I was going to be okay. I was told I was going to be okay. I practiced both sides of the medicine process, and phenomenal. It worked out phenomenally to the betterment. And it's been now 2 years that I've been cancer-free. So
Beautiful.
I know. And
so the law of attraction played a part in creating health for you.
Absolutely.
Because you asked and got the sign, so you totally believed that you would go through it, get through it, and come out the other side healthy and strong again. And going through the process of all of the law of attraction guidance, which is what? Putting out the energy. Because I know you put that energy out there.
Absolutely.
You affirmed daily. that I'm getting stronger and stronger every day. I remember.
Oh, and you helped me do that
yeah.
because we were meeting so regularly that, you know, and there were days, remember I would come to class and and I'd say, I can't, not today. And you'd go, no, we would refocus and re-energize. And, you know, there's a power, it's that power of, and we've heard it before, and I know it is biblical, but the power of two united. And, you know, sometimes you can't always do it yourself.
Right.
So uniting yourself with other people that think better for you than you do for yourself sometimes, because you can't always hold that ball. Even though you believe all those things and you've done all those things, we're still human. And that humanness sneaks in once in a while and goes, who do you think you are? Who are you? You know, and you're like, I'm a child of the King. I'm a co-creator of this universe. That's who I am.
Exactly.
You know, and it's a strong unison, you know, to pull that together.
And even as far as people in your life, I know through the process, you were drawing into you people that were there to help you, and through coaching and through Reiki and through the oils and through just so many different things, even your nurses at the hospital and how they were cheering you on and being such powerful influences for you. All of that is the law of attraction. You were attracting all of these people and gifts into your life because you believed and you strongly knew in your heart that everything was coming together for your highest and greatest good.
Exactly. So let me take you to one other thought that we have or have not addressed, I'm not sure. The thought of why did I have or why did I contact the cancer in and of itself?
And there you go.
Because anyone who's thinking the law of attraction is thinking, well, that's all good and it's all wonderful and there you go, and you know, and here you got cancer. How did you get that? You know, because it's not historically in my family, and the whole process I had to go through what that cancer was meant to me, so I could totally or attempt to totally eliminate whatever it was that I put together to attract it to me. Now, the attraction of it was one issue, but then everybody that created my new reality going forward was a part of that process as well.
Wow.
So, you know, I had to work through my anger that I had at the time and my unforgiveness, because these are all associated with the energy of cancer. And, you know, where it falls in your body's a connection too, because, you know, everybody has cancer in different places. So you kind of have to sit back and go, why is it in my pancreas or why is it in my breast, or why is it in my lungs, or, you know, and and figure out what it is that you need to clear up to clear that out. And I don't feel that I'll ever have it again. I think I dealt with most of it as I should have, but again, I'm human. So I still have to kind of keep myself in check, and when I do, it's people like you who I know who think like-minded like me that I'll pick up the phone and go, okay, I'm having a tough day today. Can you walk me through this? You know.
Right.
So, but it's always a process, and we're here to grow, and that's what this life is about, is reconnecting to our source energy, to our soul purpose, and our, you know, the reason that we're really here. And
and look how many people you'd have and continue to help that are going through the same thing that you went through. And without that experience, you wouldn't be able to go into as deep of understanding with them.
That's true.
Through coaching them through their own personal journeys.
Oh, absolutely. And
helping them.
Combining the oils that we've learned and the processes. I have people that call me once in a while and they'll say, my brother, what would you suggest? Or or my sister's now going through chemo, or my sister, or, you know, my cousin's going through whatever. And I'm not a miracle worker, but I believe in miracles. And I say to them, well, here's what I did in my process. Maybe it will help in yours as well. And I go right to the holistic side, because the medical side's being taken care of. I don't have to deal with, I have to deal with the opposite side, and many doctors are believing more so in the holistic healing process as well. And my one doctor suggested to me when I went to see him to start using frankincense, because it's a natural cancer killer. And I don't want to say that like I'm a doctor, because I'm not. But he suggested, because I was doing therapeutic massage after my chemo, to have her apply frankincense at the same time. And did it work? I feel great. I can't say it did or it didn't. I didn't know what the magic of that particular mixture was or what, except that I truly believed that it was going to be helpful. And again, part of that ask, believe, receive process.
Absolutely. Beautiful. There's another situation in your life that I want to bring you to, and that is when you were going through the process of creating a successful business, and you would put, I remember you saying you would put all of these Post-it notes all over. And tell us about how those Post-it notes really helped.
Well, this year has actually been the phenomenal year because for many years I'm a financial advisor, and I work mostly with school teachers and do their retirement planning. But I wanted to get out of that marketplace, so I have been talking and believing and praying that I would expand that to something else. So this year we started putting posters up all over the office of my business is prosperous, money's coming in, we're helping people reach their living goals. We have pictures of wallets full of money on all of our desks, and so, and the girls think I'm a little crazy, but they're like, whatever you want, okay. And we also started doing what we term as a rampage of appreciation. And so we have a little rocket on the back of our door, and every time we think of something wonderful, we put a sticky up there, going, we're shooting up, we're getting out. And but this year has really, I got a phone call from the UAW, which is kind of interesting, that I was referred to them to please help them with their retirement planning for their employees. This is everything I've been asking. I don't want to be out of my market, but I want to be extended to a new market. And we're just so excited that this has come about. And I just kept saying, obviously, my ask and now I have to act. That's lots of acting.
But you see, this is a great example of how the law of attraction works. You are not just asking and then not believing. You're asking and truly believing that the universe is hearing. By hearing, I mean it's through the energy that you're emanating. You're excited about it. You're putting up posters. You're putting up sticky notes, and you're excited about the possibilities that are about to happen. You don't really know the details, but the details are the domain of the universe to bring those to you effortlessly.
Absolutely.
You don't have to know how.
I don't.
It's your job to ask and believe and then receive when it comes.
And the thing with receiving, it's very funny because a lot of people don't know how to do that. They don't know how to openly say thank you and accept a gift, accept that as a receiving. And, they may have asked, they may believe, and when it's finally coming to them, they're going, oh, no, I don't deserve that, I don't get that. Instead of saying, this is exactly, thank you. This is exactly what I was looking for. And, that there's a huge transition in receiving. A lot of people are gift givers. I can give gifts and give them. And when somebody turns around and gives it back to you or gives you something, you kind of go, oh, I don't have something for them. And that's not it at all. You have to be thankful and let it nurture your soul. That's what it's meant to do. And just be thankful and then act in gratitude. Act in gratitude.
Absolutely. So. Beautiful. Well said.
Yes, thanks.
So it's all about the energy you're emanating and the power of belief and allowing it, because allowing and not trying to manipulate. You didn't go out and try to manipulate the situation. You didn't go out and say, oh, it's got to look this way, and this is the way I want it to be, and it has to be this way. No, you asked, you believed that it was going to happen, and look what showed up.
It just, and they called, seriously, when I tell you, the girls were at the office when we got this phone call from somebody in South Carolina who said, we work with the UAW, you've been referred to us by 5 different people, and we'd like you to work, and you can only get through as a referral. I'm like, well, who are these people? He says, well, we can't tell you who they are, just that you got 5. It's the most that we got of anyone. So I was like, oh my gosh, that's terrific. That was so amazing. And we danced in the office. I mean, we get crazy in the office. So we were dancing in the house, we're clapping, and then it stood in that, oh my gosh, there's so many people in this union. How are we going to handle this professionally and come off professionally and make them feel comfortable with their decisions and even guide them? They don't have to necessarily do their decision making with us, but we can be a guide, and we're good with that too. We're good with that too.
It's all in divine order. I truly believe that when you put it out there and just allow it to flow and allow it to all come, look what comes.
Absolutely.
Look what comes.
You know, I think the thing is too, when you ask, you can't put a time, like you said, you can't put a time frame. It's got to come through. I would like a lot of money, but it's got to come through the lottery. Or I would like a peaceful something, and it's got to come this way. Or, you know, you can't. Those parameters. We've been in this prayer for probably 4 years. It just now is time. So it's here. And I couldn't have handled it a couple of years ago. If it would have came, I would have really not been able to physically handle it.
Exactly.
It took me a good year to recover physically and get myself settled in a position or an office space that I can host this kind of, you know, involvement with clients, and which we share. And we do a lot of our classes there as well. And it just, everything in its right timing, it just fell into place.
Absolutely.
Fell into place.
And that's what the law of attraction is all about, really.
Absolutely.
But it's so much goodness. But it works the opposite way too. Though we haven't addressed that issue.
No, we haven't.
Meaning when you are constantly focusing on what you don't want to happen in your life, that's an energy all in itself. That's an energy that you're putting out there, focusing on, I don't want this to happen. I really don't want this to happen. What you're doing is you're sending that particular issue energy, so you're magnifying it.
Absolutely, because the universe doesn't know negative verbiage.
Exactly.
That don't want, it doesn't get that. Don't want. It just hears, I want this to happen.
So what you're doing is you're attracting exactly what you don't want to happen.
Exactly.
And you're giving it energy. And when you go into fear, because fear is a very distinguished, specific energy. And if you really don't want something to happen, like if, you know, for example, I don't know, a car accident, say, and you're always driving on the defensive, where you're always like assuming that you're going to be hit, and you're always looking out, and you're always in fear that, you know, of an accident, that's actually the energy that will draw that person or that situation to you, and you'll get into an accident.
Right, you get into the accident, exactly.
Because that's what you're putting out.
That's right.
You're putting out that fear, and fear is a very heavy, dense energy, and it is also, you're also attracting that.
Right,
and people might say, well, I would never want to attract that. Why would you, how could I attract that? But it may not even be on a conscious level.
No.
Again, the subconscious mind doesn't know either, doesn't know that word not.
No,
or
not.
no.
Negative.
And so if you're constantly in fear of something happening, then that's what the energy you're putting out, and that's what you're going to attract back.
I'm going to kind of go on a little global scale on this one.
Sure, absolutely.
Because with this whole, we live in a different world today than we've ever lived in.
Sure.
We are at war with a strong power right now, and it's just, I'm not putting fingers on any particular thing, but the more we focus on that negative energy, the more energy we can create for the negative thought.
Exactly.
So I'm not telling anyone to go, oh, you know, Pollyanna-ish everything, but what's wrong with Pollyanna? There's nothing wrong with thinking those positive thoughts. So if we can take a step back and we can send love and light to the areas that have been abducted, and that's really the only word I can use.
I understand.
And they're out of sync. They're out of the social grace of understanding love right now, and empower that love, and knowing that energy has no field. Okay, that if you're sitting here, I can still affect somebody hundreds of miles away by sending good, strong energy. if you could get a huge conglomerate of people to start thinking those thoughts,
Right.
what a difference it would make in the world energy in and of itself, because the fear energy is already there. And the more we think about the fear energy, the stronger it can be. Where if we dissipate it and send a different thought process.
Send a different energy into it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for bringing that
No
awareness to this
problem.
plate, because that is exactly what's happening right now. And the more anger that is festered and brought into the situation, the deeper that energy of darkness or heaviness perpetuates. It's by acknowledging that there is another way, that love is really the only thing that is real, that the loving energy is the highest and purest of the law of attraction that you could possibly
Absolutely.
emanate. And so putting out a loving energy increases the loving energy throughout the universe. And so I believe that we have, just like you said, we have the power to influence the entire universe, because without each and every one of us, there would be a void. So we are here with a purpose. And let's make that purpose a positive purpose.
Absolutely.
Let's make that purpose a loving purpose, to rid the planet of those old ways of being, and war and hatred and things like that are so old and outdated. They're really, what is the purpose?
There is no purpose.
What is the purpose
There's
of
no
that?
purpose.
We weren't created.
No.
We weren't created to live that kind of living, to live that kind of existence. We were created to be loving beings, because we are loving beings. We are love.
Created from love.
Exactly.
We are created for love. Sometimes in the morning, even as we talk about making our day, I will, for whatever purpose, get up and say, somewhere right now in this world, someone needs love. And I'm just sending it to whomever really needs it right now. I'm just sending it, and I don't know who it could be, but somebody needs it right now. And we could do it as we sit here and go, right now, someone needs, and I do this and I can feel it. I can feel the energy. Someone needs love right now. They're in a desperate situation. They're being, something's going on that's not from a loving place. Please take care of that person. Please give them the power to overcome whatever it is they're going through right now. And I do that sometimes in the morning, or sometimes I get woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and that's the thought in my head, like, okay, right now somebody needs love right now. And I will just send, and I'll go back to sleep, but I'm sending out something.
It's your conscious intention.
It's conscious intention.
And through that energy that's an energy, that's an intention, that's a very, very powerful, loving intention. That's the energy that goes out into the universe. But Michelle, that's also the energy that comes back to you. And the universe says, that's exactly what you are creating for yourself as well. And so loving people come into your life, loving circumstances, are all around you. And it's not, you're not intending for it to go out, go out there just so that it comes back.
Right, exactly. No, that's not the intent.
But the law of the universe, that's what the law of the universe is and does. So it automatically comes back to you.
Right.
And what a gift. That's
detaching
beautiful.
yourself, I think, especially now with the holidays coming up, detaching yourself from the extremeness that can happen through the holidays that are not loving things, and families that maybe are fighting with each other, or families that are not having, or somebody says something unkind, okay? You're not in their shoes, so you don't know where they're coming from, but you certainly can say, you know what? That was a little unkind, but I still wish you well. And that is a huge thing to do, and it's very hard to do, especially if you have emotion tied to it. But, the holidays now's the time, and that's why doing this for the coming new year, you can start saying, okay, I'm not going to get involved in that craziness, because I don't want to give energy to that craziness, so I'm just going to give you peace. I hope you find peace. I want to send you love, and I'm not going to get suctioned
Into the drama.
into the drama of the negative energy that this is procreating. I'm just not going to do it. And that's a very difficult, well, we've been doing it a long time.
Yes.
So
It takes
I'm
practice.
every day.
It takes practice.
Every day.
But it's one day at a time.
Every day.
One step at a time.
Absolutely.
It's becoming aware of your own thoughts in the process, your own feelings. What are you emanating that's creating the situation?
Why are you being drawn in here?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So it is about awareness. It is about understanding that your thoughts, your words, and your feelings create your life. And through this awareness, you can shift what you're creating in any given moment. You can stop it, right? You know, if you're creating something that you're creating disharmony, or you're creating a pain somewhere in your life, you can actually stop it by just saying, you know, this isn't serving me anymore. This is an old pattern. You know, that's what the shifting is all about. We're going through what's called an energetic shift right now. We're going through an awakening process. Humanity is being called to lift up and raise to higher levels of awareness and higher levels of being.
Right.
And so becoming aware that I am creating this and I'm choosing not to create it anymore.
Right.
It's as simple as that. I choose something else. I choose something more loving. I choose something more peaceful. I choose something more compassionate. I choose something more giving than taking. You know?
Absolutely.
So, because it's really not always about what can I get from a situation. It's what can I give in this situation. Because the Course in Miracles has a phrase that was very powerful, and it's whatever is lacking in any given situation is what you're not giving. So if you perceive something as something is lacking or something you're not receiving, it's give it. Give exactly that and watch what happens. Give it away. You know, if it's money, if you're feeling a lack of money, give more to somebody who really is either somebody you know or don't know. It can be anonymous, but give
Absolutely.
more, and you will receive more. And same thing with compassion. You know, if you're feeling unheard or unloved, then give more love. You know, in relationships, if you're feeling dissatisfied in relationships, then give more to your friendships. Be there. Be a friend. Who can I reach out and touch today?
Exactly. And the only person you can do that to is yourself. You can't force someone else to be different because you want them to be, because they have their own patterns they're getting through in life. So you can't, say, if they did this, I do that. No, that's not how it works. It's, I'm going to do this no matter what they do. This is where I'm coming from, no matter where they're coming from. You know, and sometimes that can be the fact that you have to disassociate. You know, maybe you need to get away for a while, or maybe you can't have this person because in your life at that time because you're working on something bigger. That doesn't mean you don't care for them. It just means that you need space. And when you're better at doing for yourself and understanding what you need, then you can walk back into a pattern and sometimes go, this doesn't affect me the same way anymore.
Right. Because everything is inside. Everything that we are creating is already there. It's what are we resonating with?
Exactly.
Are we resonating with anger and discord? Are we going through the day thinking of all those people that, were rude to us, and all the people that said things that maybe were unkind at the time? Or is that where we're focused? Because again, where is your focus? Right? What you bring to you, what you're focused on. As a man thinketh, so he is.
As a man thinketh, that is correct.
And what you believe, which is another way of saying what you're focused on, is what you you create.
What you create,
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
well, this has been amazing, Michelle. Thank you so much.
Oh, I always love working with you, Marilyn. It's
Yes,
perfectly.
Same with me. Thank you so much. And I know that a lot of ideas have been brought to the table today, a lot of information and wonderful examples. Thank you for your amazing examples
problem.
of how the law of attraction works, and works 100% of the time.
100% of the
Whether
time.
you know about it or not, whether you're creating by default or on purpose. Well, thank you again for joining us with another episode of Conscious Awakening. It is very helpful to listen to these informational videos over and over again to help incorporate effortless learning, effortless growing, and understanding. So I would like to say thank you again. The law of attraction, it's amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Namaste.